Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of everyday history that many people overlook, the 1981 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition, and what it's worth in today's market in dollars. This coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but once you understand its story, its design, and its place in the collector world, you'll start to see why even a small coin like this can carry real interest and value. The Australian 20-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, the same year Australia transitioned to decimal currency. By 1981, the coin was already well established in circulation and widely used across the country. The 1981 issue was produced by the Royal Australian Mint, which is known for maintaining high-quality minting standards. When we talk about a coin being in very fine condition, we're referring to a piece that has clearly been in circulation but still retains a decent amount of detail. On a 1981 Australian 20-cent coin, you'll still see the platypus design on the reverse with moderate clarity, although some of the finer lines may be worn. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse will also show wear, especially on the higher points like the hair and facial features, but it remains recognizable and intact. This condition places the coin above heavily worn examples, yet below the crisp, sharp appearance of uncirculated pieces. Now let's talk about the background and composition of the coin. The 1981 Australian 20-cent coin is made from copper-nickel, which is a durable alloy consisting of. This composition gives the coin its silver-like appearance and strong resistance to corrosion, which is why many of these coins still look decent decades later. The coin has a distinctive dodecagonal, or making it easy to identify even by touch. The reverse side features one of Australia's most unique animals, the platypus, a symbol of the country's extraordinary wildlife. This design has remained largely unchanged over the years and is widely appreciated by collectors for its artistic simplicity and national significance. On the obverse, the coin carries the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, reflecting Australia's constitutional monarchy and its historical ties. Moving on to collector demand, this is where things get interesting. The 1981 Australian 20-cent coin is not considered rare in general terms because it was minted in large numbers for everyday use. However, demand still exists among collectors, especially those who are building complete date sets of Australian decimal coins. For beginners, coins like this are a great entry point because they are affordable and easy to find, yet still meaningful. Collectors also appreciate coins in better conditions. A very fine example, like the one we're discussing, holds more appeal than heavily worn coins because it still preserves enough detail to showcase the design. While it may not be a high-end collectible, it certainly has a place in many collections, especially for those who enjoy assembling coins by year or condition. Now let's talk about the current market value in dollars. In today's market, a 1981 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition typically holds a modest value. Most of these coins are worth around $1,020,000 to $150,000 Australian dollars. In some cases, depending on the exact condition and buyer interest, it might reach around $1, but this is not very common. It's important to understand that value depends heavily on condition, demand, and market trends. While this coin may not make you rich, it still carries collectible value and historical interest, which is what makes coin collecting enjoyable for many people. Now, let's share a few helpful thoughts for collectors who are interested in coins like this. If you're starting out, coins like the 1981 Australian 20-cent are perfect for learning how to grade condition and understand wear patterns. Pay close attention to details like the platypus design and the portrait on the obverse. Try to compare your coin with images of different grades so you can train your eye. It's also a good idea to store your coins properly. Even a very fine coin can lose value if it becomes damaged over time. Keep your coins in protective holders. Avoid touching them with bare hands, and store them in a dry environment. Another useful tip is to build a complete set. Instead of focusing on one coin, try collecting all 20-cent coins from different years. This makes the hobby more rewarding and gives your collection a sense of purpose. As we come to the conclusion, it's clear that the 1981 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition may not be highly valuable in terms of money, but it holds significance in other ways. It represents a piece of Australia's monetary history, showcases a beautiful and iconic design, and offers collectors an accessible and meaningful addition to their collections. Every coin has a story, and sometimes the real value lies not just in dollars, but in the history, craftsmanship, and connection to the past. Next up, today we're diving into something simple, yet surprisingly interesting, a 2001 Australian 20-cent coin, especially the version that shows rust green toning while still being in fine condition. You might have one of these sitting in your pocket, a jar, or tucked away in an old collection, and the big question is, what is it worth today? Stay with me as we explore the history of this coin, its condition and composition, the demand among collectors, and of course, its current market value in dollars. By the end, you'll have a clear idea whether your coin is just spare change or a small hidden treasure. The Australian 20-cent coin has been part of everyday currency since 1966, when Australia transitioned to decimal currency. The 2001 issue is not particularly rare in terms of mintage, but it still holds value depending on its condition and unique appearance. What makes some of these coins stand out is the presence of a rust green tone, often caused by environmental exposure over time. Now, when we say fine condition, we are referring to a coin that has clearly been in circulation but still retains most of its details. The platypus design on the reverse remains visible, though it may show some wear, and the edges might be slightly softened. The rust green coloration, instead of being a flaw, can actually add character if it's even and not damaging the structure of the coin. Many collectors appreciate this natural aging, as it gives each coin a unique look and story. The 2001 Australian 20-cent coin is made from a copper-nickel alloy, which includes. This composition gives the coin durability and resistance to corrosion under normal conditions. However, over time, exposure to moisture, air, or storage conditions can create that greenish tone we sometimes see. The coin weighs about and has a distinctive scalloped edge, making it easy to recognize even without looking closely. The reverse features the iconic platypus, one of Australia's most unique animals, while the obverse displays the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II as it appeared during that period. This combination of design, composition, and durability is part of what has kept the coin so consistent and recognizable over the years. When it comes to collector demand, the 2001 Australian 20-cent coin sits in an interesting position. It's not considered rare in general circulation, but coins with unusual toning, like rust green coloration, can attract attention. Collectors often look for coins that stand out visually, and natural toning can make a common coin more desirable. Demand also depends heavily on condition. A coin in fine condition with even toning is more appealing than one that is heavily damaged or corroded. Some collectors enjoy building sets of toned coins, while others are specifically interested in variations from the usual silver appearance. So while the coin itself isn't rare, its unique appearance can make it more collectible than you might expect. Now let's talk about what everyone wants to know: the value. A standard 2001 Australian 20-cent coin in circulated condition is generally worth which is 20 cents. However, when we look at coins in fine condition with rust green toning, the value can increase slightly depending on how appealing the coin looks. In today's market, such a coin might sell for around $150,000 to $240,000, sometimes a bit more if the toning is particularly attractive and evenly spread. It's important to understand that this is not a high-value coin, but it can still bring a small premium among collectors who appreciate its character. The key factor here is visual appeal. Two coins from the same year can have very different values based on how they look. If you are a collector or just starting out, coins like this can be a great way to learn about the hobby. It's always a good idea to store your coins in a dry and stable environment to prevent unwanted damage. At the same time, natural toning that has already occurred should not be cleaned or removed, as cleaning can actually reduce the coin's value. Take time to observe your coins closely. Look at the details, the color, and the overall condition. Even common coins can become interesting when you pay attention to these small differences. Also, consider building a small collection of coins from different years or with different types of toning. It's an enjoyable and affordable way to get deeper into coin collecting. In conclusion, the 2001 Australian 20 cents coin with rust green toning in fine condition may not make you rich, but it certainly holds charm and value beyond its face amount. It represents a piece of everyday history, shaped by time and use, and appreciated by those who enjoy the beauty of coins. So next time you come across a simple 20 cents coin, take a closer look. You might just find something unique hiding in plain sight. Next up, today, we're diving into a classic piece of Australian currency, the 1967 Australia 20 cents coin in very fine condition, and uncovering what it's worth in today's market. There's something special about holding a coin that has traveled through decades of history. The 1967 Australian 20 cent coin is one of those pieces that quietly carries stories from the past. And for collectors, it represents both heritage and opportunity. Let's begin with a look at its history and condition. The Australian 20 cent coin was first introduced in 1966, just 1 year before our featured coin. This was a significant moment because Australia transitioned to decimal currency, replacing the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. By 1967, the 20 cent coin had already become a familiar part of everyday transactions. Millions of these coins were minted, and they quickly circulated across the country. Now, when we talk about a very fine condition coin, we're referring to a piece that has seen some circulation but still retains clear details. The design elements are visible, the edges are defined, and although there is some wear, it hasn't lost its overall character. This condition is actually quite appealing to many collectors because it reflects authenticity, a coin that has truly lived its life. Moving on to the background and composition of the coin, the 1967 Australian 20 cent piece is made from cupronickel, which is a blend of copper and nickel. This composition gives the coin its silver-like appearance and durability. The coin weighs approximately 11.31 grams and features a distinctive scalloped edge, making it easy to recognize even by touch. On one side of the coin, you'll find the iconic platypus design, created by Stuart Devlin. The platypus is a unique symbol of Australia's wildlife, and its detailed depiction adds artistic value to the coin. On the other side, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II represents the historical ties of Australia to the British monarchy. Together, these designs create a balance between national identity and tradition. Now let's talk about collector demand. The 1967 Australian 20 cent coin is not considered extremely rare, but it is definitely collectible. Many collectors are drawn to it because it's part of the early decimal series, and completing a set from the 1960s is a common goal. Coins in very fine condition are especially popular because they are affordable while still offering visible detail and historical charm. Demand also depends on factors like mint quality, shine, and how well the coin has been preserved. While uncirculated coins command higher prices, very fine coins hold steady interest, particularly among beginner and intermediate collectors who want to build their collections without spending too much. So, what about the current market value? In today's market, a 1967 Australian 20 cent coin in very fine condition typically ranges between $148,000 to $175,000. Depending on the buyer, the platform, and the overall presentation of the coin, it may sometimes fetch slightly more. While it may not seem like a high-value coin, its real worth lies in its history and its place within a complete collection. When collecting coins like the 1967 Australian 20 cent piece, it's always a good idea to focus on condition. Even small differences in wear can affect value over time. Keeping your coins stored in protective holders or albums can preserve their quality and prevent further damage. It's also important to buy from reliable sources. Whether you're purchasing from online marketplaces, coin shops, or fellow collectors, trust and authenticity matter. Take your time to learn about grading standards, because understanding the difference between very fine and other grades can help you make smarter decisions. As we come to the conclusion, the 1967 Australian 20 cent coin may not be the most valuable coin in terms of dollars, but it certainly holds lasting value in the world of collecting. It represents a key moment in Australia's monetary history, features beautiful and symbolic design, and remains accessible to collectors of all levels. Every coin tells a story, and this one speaks of change, tradition, and everyday life in a transforming nation. Whether you're just starting your collection or adding another piece to your growing set, this coin is a reminder that value isn't always measured by. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and continue exploring the amazing world of coins.